Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Stand in line for your fix. DeMarcus and Marcus in the mix. Serving you yet another round of fish and grits. March 16th, 2017. Stone Cold Day, as some may call it.
Yes, sir. 316. Grab you a beer.
Open up a beer to some tequila, some Hennessy, some
you're taking it way back because a few of our listeners probably don't even really listen to watch wrestling because I don't know how fake it looks now or unbelievable. But back in the day, wrestling used to be the truth. I remember, was it Thursday night SmackDown, man, staying up, getting hyped up.
Yeah, man, all the classics. Man, I still follow it a little bit. If you'd be surprised, I'm actually gonna catch WrestleMania. We may or may not talk about it a little bit, just depending on how we feel that day. But yeah, I'm still actually into it a little bit, man. It's just interesting to follow because I don't watch a lot of TV, but it is something that I'm interested in to see, like the Goldbergs and Brock Lesnar's of the world.
Is it still as I don't know, as in the child's mind, I feel like when I look at that, when I used to watch that, it used to be kind of so superficial that it didn't look as fake. It kind of looked like everything was real. But as I got older, you kind of realize that this stuff is, staged. But then even when I go back and I look at a highlight on Facebook or something like that, there is a nostalgic to it. Like I still get hyped up about it. But is wrestling, now that you say you still watch it, is it still interesting like that or?
I'm not going to say it's interesting. I honestly just follow it for certain storylines. Like, I'm not going to watch the entire 3 hours of the program. And the fact that it's 3 hours nowadays, that's kind of ridiculous. But I will fast forward through. I may watch a good 15 minutes of the actual 3 hour show. It don't seem like a lot. But like I say, it's only certain superstars I'm interested in. I'm not interested in all the matches, like the women's division, cruiserweight division. I'm not interested in all of that.
Okay.
I'll watch some of the bigger names, the bigger draws that come, like the Undertaker match or something.
Man, those stories used to be the greatest, man. I remember Undertaker died 2 times. I used to go to school next day. Dog, Undertaker is dead, man. They killed him last night.
That was probably the greatest childhood we had. Like growing up in the late 90s when wrestling was thriving at his biggest peak. It was fun, And
it's crazy that just to think about it, I know we going kind of long on this, but just thinking about how amazing The Rock used to be and how entertaining he was. And, he tried to break out into the acting scene and Scorpion King, but he wasn't that great of an actor. He had the charisma, but it's just crazy that last year The Rock was the highest paid actor in Hollywood. Who would have thought that shit back in the day?
I know, and a lot of people are using wrestling as a gateway to do things. Yeah. You're starting to actually see a lot of NFL talent. If they don't make rosters, they're going to train to be wrestlers because they know they can at least get some type of exposure. And if you could just guarantee having a gig, I know people look at it like, it's fake wrestling. These are jobs, So if you're able to have this type of job, it's going to pay you on a week, and you got to just stay in good shape and go out there for about 10 to 15 minutes. Hey, that's easy money to make because you can still have a regular job outside of being an entertainer.
Does Vince McMahon still own, the Wrestling Federation or no?
He does still own it, but Triple H and Stephanie McMahon has a lot to do with day-to-day operations, and so does Shane McMahon. So,
oh man, they used to that drama behind Shane McMahon and Vince McMahon and Triple H and the wife and Stone Cold. That whole storyline was just beautiful to watch back in the day. It was like we were watching I want to say a soap opera.
You want to know what ruined it though?
What?
The internet. Because the internet, you had so much access to it. Back then, you had to tune in at that exact time, or you're not catching anything.
Oh, you was missing it.
Now, you missing it. Now you probably record it. You probably can get online, watch the whole show over. Like the internet kind of ruined, like you said, the nostalgia of wrestling. Because one, we already knew it wasn't real, but now that we can look up the results, there's no reason to tune in no more.
Man, I swear I used to get hyped up when Stone Cold used to come out there and just like Stone Cold it's like the whole ring be full of people and Stone Cold just
clean them out.
Everybody. I'm like, how is this possible? But I used to get so hyped up. Oh man.
I know one thing Stone Cold did do. He did give Donald Trump a stunner. And I know it's one other person that maybe want to stun Donald Trump right now. Let's get right into it. It's gonna be the fresh squeeze of the day. We're talking about Donald Trump versus Snoop Dogg. This may be a match at WrestleMania. We need to be on the lookout for it.
Yeah, man, I'd like to see that.
Man, it was a very controversial video. We kind of touched on it briefly right before we started this broadcast. And he was asking me, did he go too far? And, I said, if you just mute everything and just watch the actual video, a lot of people can say that he went too far, because now you're saying that it's okay to take out higher authority. And I understand he's a clown and the message that he wants to put out, that he's a clown, but you didn't have to do it with the actual gun. You know, you could have just portrayed him as a clown like you did Michael Rappaport in the beginning of the video and just been done with it, because everybody understands the type of president that we have. We know that a majority of the population is not going to agree with him, but you can't put out in kids' minds that they take everything they see and they soak it in. You know, they're very young minds. They remember certain things. But this is a video that could go on and hunt the generations to follow, especially for the authority that's in line further down the road, because it's making it seem like it's okay to take out your frustrations on higher authority. And that's not the message that Snoop Dogg should be trying to portray right now.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. And then from an adult standpoint, you know, a lot of us, the majority of people that listen to this podcast probably seen the video, probably listened to the song or whatnot. And the video did, as me and you have discussed before, it did kind of go too far. I understand what he was doing in the message, like you said, that he was trying to display, but he could have done it in a better manner. Yes. And the thing about CNN, not CNN, Fox News, what throws me off sometimes about them, they know how to take a story and spin it. Because I was watching,
but they also Republican biased though.
That is very true. Because let me tell you how they spin this. They was like, "What do you?" They asked one of the correspondents. He called in. It was some black guy. They called in and they were talking to him. They said, "What do you take of this video?" And they were saying, "You know, this video is freedom of speech. You can do what you want, but you want to be shooting Trump." But he said the person that you should have been trying to shoot is Obama, because he wasn't helping out the black community. And you know, they give these so-called alternative facts saying that Obama really didn't do anything for urban housing, and then all of a sudden Trump is meeting with all the HBCUs and they're coming up with all these billions of dollars to donate and all this stuff. And I'm just like, yo, it's just like, don't try to hype this man up like he is trying to be for us or he's trying to help us out as a community, because we all have two eyes and we all have a brain between those two and between our two ears, and we know what we see, and we don't see somebody who's for us or trying to help us. You just see somebody who's trying to perpetrate a fraud. It seemed like he's always trying to get those black people that kind of look like us but don't talk like us or don't even represent us, if you want to be truthful about it. And I don't like how Fox does it, how they flip everything around. I don't want to try to get too political on here, but I just really think that's foul how they do that. And about the video, Snoop knows he has a large audience, because Snoop's been holding it down since what, 92 or 95? Yeah, 95,
somewhere in that range. Yeah.
Somewhere in that range. Everybody know where he came in, gin and juice popping. So you know, he's been around for a while, and he's able. The thing about Snoop, he's able to evolve. You know, me and you probably look at Snoop and be like, "Hey, Snoop, you need to retire from rapping, or you need to calm down some, or you need to get up out the spotlight some." But Snoop is hitting all generations. From, you know, Snoop had his famous lingo, then he had his TV shows. He's always been close to all generations. Now he's on Snap all the time.
He's the market. Snoop Dogg, he's a brand. You know, he created his brand.
Yeah, he is creating his own brand. But the thing about it is, in creating that brand, you have touched so many lives. So a lot of people
have a lot of responsibility also.
Exactly. And you're going too far. And you're going too far with a video with this. There's a large majority of us that do not approve of Trump or do not like Trump, but we can't be ignorant and we can't play into the stereotypes that the people already created for us, that we have no sense. We don't have no sense of
the stereotype that he's making us fall into a category by making this type of video.
Exactly.
You know, and it's not helping us at all, you know, but definitely I like that the entire rap community is getting behind Snoop Dogg. You know, like I said, they are trying to get behind the legend. You got Common, you got T.I., you got Bow Wow, like those people of that stature. But Snoop Dogg, he should have been a little bit more careful with the playing of this video. At least ran it through some people. I know a lot of artists, they want to put stuff out there so fast that they don't allow it to be reviewed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want nobody to steal my idea. But sometimes you do need like a person like, hey, man, maybe you need to go about this a different way. Like I say, it's an artist. He's creating art, but he could have went about this a different way because, like you said, he's created a following. So in creating that film, you don't want to have them like, okay, so this is what we're supposed to do. Okay, let's go out and shoot some authority figures.
Bro, did you see that? I know we were talking about the people that are kind of backing up Snoop, but did you see that clapback that T.I. had done on Twitter against Donald Trump because Donald Trump had tweeted
presidential level fuckboy? Yes, I think.
Man, he was going in on Trump, and I was just like, "Yo, T.I. is supposed to be that person." You know, me personally, I've always liked T.I., but sometimes I think he does the most in trying to sound intellectual and stuff like that. That's my only knock on T.I. But T.I. really went in on Trump, and I'm just like, hey, man, to a lot of the generation, you are a figurehead of positivity because everybody's seen you go from trap days to how you are now. That you have an image also. And that clap that you did at Trump, everybody saw that. It was funny, but that was a little bit too far.
Yeah, definitely. But like I said, both of them was funny. It was funny, but it was funny to us as black people, but it's a negative when you talk about how we look to other people. You know what I mean? It's a negative perspective that we putting out there, and that's not what we need nowadays. We don't need any more negativity. We need to try to be a little bit more positive. And yes, let's get our word out there, but let's put it in a positive frame of mind, you know?
Yeah, because look, honestly, if there was a white person that did a video like that, Obama,
they would have blew the fuck up.
We would have burnt the USA of A down. They would have died. Everybody, it would have been rioting in the streets. I kid you not. Everybody and their mama would have called in from work. We would have been walking down the street, looting buildings. So you already know how it goes. So let's be a little classy, people.
Yeah, there we go, man. But let's jump into a little bit of NFL talk.
Yes, sir.
You know, we finally had a couple of running backs find some homes. You got Rex Burkhead of the Cincinnati Bengals finding a home in New England, looking to be Woodhead 2.0. You got Eddie Lacy finally finding a home in Seattle, and I think that's going to be a good fit for him. And you also got Latavius Murray going to Green Bay. Not Green Bay, but
he went to the Vikings.
Yeah, right conference, wrong team. He's gonna be playing in Green Bay. I hope he's gonna be used to that weather because he's gonna be getting a lot of toast down there. It's gonna be cold. Even though he's playing in the dome, he's still gonna be in a lot of cold weather between Green Bay and Chicago. So man, you know, still got AP out there, still got Jamal Charles out there, even LeGarrette Blount's out there, who just came off 1,000 yards and 16 plus touchdowns. The running back market is at its all-time lowest. I mean, just last year you seen Lamar Miller and Doug Martin. They went off the board day one, day two. I know Lamar was day one. I think Doug Martin went off the board day two, but he also had a lot of offers. You know, Dallas was even trying to get Lamar. So the running back market was kind of jumping last year. They both got like 24 plus million. This year, we've seen two running backs that's capable of rushing for 1,000 yards, barely touch 5 million. And then on top of that, you got Eddie Lacy, who has to make certain weight restrictions. I think in training camp, he has to be 255. Right before the season, 250. And then during the season, 245 during the season.
Yeah, he gets a weight bonus plus or something like that if you get down to 245.
Yeah, so man, it's just the running back market, like all these stipulations for I want to say at least one of the top 5 positions on the team. I mean, you at least got to have some durability, but I like the Lacy move the most, if you want to be completely honest, because he's going to be in like a committee type thing. You still got CJ Prosise, you still got Thomas Rawls. Now you bring in Eddie Lacy, and if he can just be half of the Eddie Lacy and just give them, 500, 600 yards of production rushing wise, and he still got some smooth hands. You know, he got hands like a tight end or a receiver. So I think he'll definitely be an upgrade to that position. What you think, man?
I like that pickup because honestly, he could be Marshawn Light. And I'm gonna be honest with you, because think about this, DeMarcus.
I've heard feast mode.
Dang, that's cold. Who came up with that one? The internet is undefeated. The internet is undefeated. Feast mode. But people, what's so funny about that? Because everybody really clowns the Lacy, but he was having back-to-back 1,000 yards rushing seasons. Yes. And Seattle is the type of team that wants to ground and pound.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is Eddie Lacy could be that Marshawn because he has that. It takes about 3 or 4 people to usually bring down Eddie Lacy. So if he were to shred some of that weight and get down to a healthy 250, and he does have that shiftiness, as a running back. I can see him
very quick feet for a big guy.
I can see him really coming back and having a great season. I can see him easily putting up, if they really rely on him and CJ Prosise, just that 1-2 punch. I can see him having over 1,000 yards and having like at least 12 touchdowns. But the pickup that I like was Rex Burkhead, because in the end of the season, a lot of people weren't paying attention to Cincinnati. But, once again, I mean, you play fantasy, so we have to watch the running back market when it comes to playoff times. Mm-hmm. And when you look at it, he was having a great end of the season when Gio went down. And the Patriots saw that and they capitalized. And I'm telling everybody, you need to watch the Patriots. The Patriots are slowly making chess moves.
A powerhouse.
They are about to. They can easily go to the Super Bowl next year, the next two years, honestly.
Yes.
Because Tom Brady I don't see Tom Brady's production dropping off. And even if Tom Brady, he was supposed to hit that wall that everybody talks about, that age wall. If he was to hit that, guess what? You still have enough help around you that can help. Correct those problems. Just like with a la Peyton Manning, when his throwing motion started to go haywire, he had the defense, he had the running game, he had the wide receivers that can catch the wobbly pass. The same with Tom Brady. You have Brandon Cooks that can play any position, spot on the field, and you have your Hogans, and you have a Deion Lewis, you have Rex Burkhead coming in, then you have a good defense coming up. So there's no telling what the Patriots can do. But that was a nice pickup that I like to say.
No, it was a great pickup, man. All that just brought me back to. I kind of think that Green Bay is wasting Aaron Rodgers' best years. Now that you say something like that, you look at the Patriots. They bring in a Brandon Cooks, they bring in a Chris Hogan, they bring in a Amendola, they bring in a Martellus Bennett, bring in a Dwayne Allen, they bring in pieces on defense. They bring in, and all you're seeing in Green Bay is people going out the door. You're seeing pieces leave on defense, from Julius Peppers to they lost a cornerback last year. I think it's Tramon Williams. You can see Eddie Lacy leaving. You never really replaced James Jones. You got Nelson maybe on his last leg. Even though he bounced back pretty good, that's still a significant injury to have after being 30 years old in the NFL. And they just not bringing him any more additional pieces. Like, they're just continuing to lose. And yeah, I know technically he's still kind of young, but he's one injury away from being completely done as a quarterback. That's all it takes, is just one bad protection, and Aaron Rodgers' career could be over. So why not try to take advantage of that when you have a quarterback that's playing at the level he has been playing at for the last 5 years, and put some pieces around him to succeed?
If they were smart, they would have went after Latavius Murray and put him behind Aaron Rodgers, because that would have been a great pickup. And then I know Adrian Peterson's still sitting out there in LeGarrette Blount, but that running back market is going to start they're going to start to lower their prices. Yeah. They're going to start lowering their prices, and a lot of teams are going to really start biting, because a lot of people see that Adrian Peterson, guess what? You are kind of old age. You want too much money. Let's see if you drop that price down. Same with LeGarrette Blount. Everybody sees 1,000 yards and like 16 plus touchdowns, but it's kind of, you were in the Patriot systems. Are you really as good as, your numbers say? A lot of people GMs do look at that, and a lot of scouters do look at that. And they also see the running back talent that's coming in this year's draft is better than what came in last year. Because you saw Eddie Lacy was good last year, and a couple of other running backs, but no other rookie besides Eddie Lacy. Maybe you could say Jordan Howard, but no one saw Jordan Howard having the type of year that he did. But not a lot of running backs came out that draft. But this is the cream of the crop of the running backs, the tight ends. A lot of the offensive tackles are good in this draft. So a lot of GMs are looking at that, and they don't want to overpay for some of these running backs who have these question marks. Because I was kind of shocked that Latavius Murray got picked up so quickly, because Latavius Murray had kind of a few injuries last year. Then he had, he kind of fell out of good graces with Oakland with the fumbling issue. So I was kind of surprised that the Vikings were able to move so quickly onto him. So, I'm kind of shocked about that. But I think Adrian Peterson will find a team. And I'm thinking that the Patriots are really taking a look at him. Honestly, I heard reports saying that he's going to meet with the Patriots.
Why not? I mean, if it's a weekend of free agency, if I'm AP, I'm so disrespected right now, to the point to where I want to find the best situation for me. And let's be honest, man, what is the best situation in all of football? New England Patriots, like hands down. So if Bill Belichick called me, tell me I can get, let's say, base salary $4 million with incentives, most likely you won't reach those incentives, but you're going to get the biggest trophy of them all, a Super Bowl ring. So why not take that if you're Adrian Peterson? That'll be like the perfect ending to a career.
Yeah, it's the safest spot. And then if you really if he really wanted to do that, he wanted to go that route and get the trophy or the safe spot, or he wanted to do a risky move, he would try to take a lower pay cut and go to the Chiefs, because the Chiefs have they have Spencer Ware, but there's no telling how his production is going to be next year, and he can kind of slip into that power back role that Andy Reid, likes to run. That you have West and you have Spencer Ware that can catch the ball, but you can have your power back in Adrian Peterson, and Andy Reid. That's one thing he's always loved to do is run the ball. Or he can also take a look at the Eagles. I would also take a look at the Eagles because the Eagles need somebody that's better than Ryan Matthews. And I feel like Adrian Peterson is the type of power back that they could go to. It'll be that Adrian Peterson, Darren Sproles split. I can see that really working out with the Eagles.
Yeah, that'll be nice. That'll be nice. Speaking of that power back role, that's what I kind of see Latavius doing. I think this Latavius move, especially when since he's on a 1-year deal, I think they're going to try to get a young back, see if he can be able to start. If he's not, then Latavius may get like a 2 or 3 year deal. But if that young back come in and take over for Latavius Murray, mainly I'm talking about the boy Christian McCaffrey, like you called a little bit earlier into the year that he could be going to the Vikings. McCaffrey and Murray could be a nice 1-2 combo.
That's true, but I still like Jerick McKinnon. A lot of people, I feel like the offensive line for the Vikings made Jerick McKinnon look worse than what he actually is, because I think Jerick McKinnon is the type of running back that can go between the tackles. Yeah, he's kind of a slender guy, but he's kind of a slippery dude. He's like a CJ Prosise. He can catch the ball out the backfield really well, and he also can move through the tackles if you need him to, and he can block fairly well, in my opinion. And I don't know what they're gonna do with Matt Asiata, honestly, because they may kick him out the door because I don't like Matt Asiata, but Jerick McKinnon, I feel like he's gonna compete with Latavius Murray for that spot. I don't know if the Vikings might draft. They may draft a running back depending on who falls to them. But I personally, if I'm the Vikings, I wouldn't want to go after. They really need another wide receiver, a big wide receiver, because Stephon Diggs is good. Adam Thielen, they just re-signed him. He's good. You have Kyle Rudolph, but who else do you have? You just let Cordell Patterson go, so you need a big receiver that can go through the middle of the field and catch those 15, 10-yard throws that Sam Bradford is accustomed to throwing.
What do you see Teddy Bridgewater like? Can you see him coming back at all down the road? Do you think he's completely done? I mean, it seemed like that's a pretty major injury that he had, and it's absolutely no news coming out, so it's just not looking good at all. Can you see him return at all? Do you think he's just hanging up?
There's actually a question mark on Mariota, Teddy Bridgewater, and Derek Carr, because there's no news on none of them. Because I haven't seen any. I don't know if you've seen any news. I haven't heard anything about any one of those three, and they all had terrible injuries.
I believe Derek Carr is probably the furthest ahead out of all of them because he had his surgery done first. I think Mariota's going. I think his rehab is going to take a little bit more. He may not be ready to training camp, but I'm hearing that Bridgewater may miss this entire season.
He should take this whole season off. If I was him, and I really get my body up under you, because the quarterback position is the most important position. And the type of knee injury that Teddy Bridgewater has is like the Robin Griffin effect. Robert Griffin came back way too fast, and you could tell that he didn't have his legs up under him. His mind was telling him one thing, but his legs were telling him something totally different. And he was doubting himself because the things that he wanted to do, he knew his body couldn't really do yet. And he kept rushing the process. And I hope that is not what Teddy Bridgewater does, and he takes a year off and he gets his mind ready, that his body can react to where his mind wants it to go. Because in his mind, if Teddy Bridgewater is ready for the season, his mind says, okay, I have these linebackers about to get me. Let me take off. Boom. My legs are not, I don't have these young legs that I had before the injury. So they can't move like they wanted to move. So I feel like he should take a year off and get his legs up under him, or take not the whole year, let's see, 6 to 8 weeks, and see how you feel, and then you can come in and alleviate Sam Bradford on third downs or something like that, and try to gain your role back. But that's what I think.
There you go. Man, let's jump into some NBA news. Well, I don't even know if it's news. It seems pretty adamant for everybody to see. The Warriors are struggling right now. I don't know if it's the KD effect. I don't know if lack of bench depth is finally starting to catch up with them. And they just don't look like the same team from last year at all. I mean, you got Curry struggling from the field. Well, from his last year numbers, he's struggling. I mean, 39% from three after he was, 46 last year? It's a huge difference. You're not seeing those big games from Klay. They're 5-5 in the last 10 games. Almost lost to the 76ers. It took a lot from Curry for them to beat the 76ers. That's not a good sign at all. Lost to the Timberwolves, lost to the Celtics. Almost a blowout by the Celtics, honestly. Do you see this team being able to bounce back? Do you think it's the KD effect? What's going on with this Warriors team in your opinion, man?
Man, there's a lot going on. It's the KD effect for one thing, because all their eggs were in the KD basket, because he was supposed to be the person that we traded all of these pieces to get you. So you have to fill that void. When he got hurt and he went down, they have nobody stepping into that void correctly. You have Curry not stepping in as the quote unquote supposed to be star. Same with Klay. Klay's still getting his. Klay is still playing. He's playing decent basketball. Draymond Green is not playing nowhere to the level that Draymond Green usually plays at. And the pieces that they have around are not really fitting in. And the thing I can say about the big three, even though I hated the Heat back in the day, when Dwayne Wade had to go out, everything still clicked. Well, if LeBron had to sit down and D Wade played with Bosh, it still clicked.
Bosh stepped up. Yeah.
Everybody still stepped up and played their role, but the Warriors, it doesn't seem like they step into that role.
They all need to be intact to be successful. That's sad.
And let me tell you something right now. There's a report's been going on, or whispers, or whatever you want to call it, that there's dysfunction that's going on in the Warriors organization. And there was somebody who said that Draymond Green is starting to be a distraction more than an asset to the team, that the team feels that he's really showing out, or I guess doing too much and not doing enough. And I think that's really starting to show, because we see his antics on the side. We say that, oh, he's a hype man, he likes to motivate, but these are grown men, and grown men can only take so much of you welling your arms, or you yelling at me, or you coming at me and stuff like that. People get tired of that. And another thing is, we're starting to see, I don't want to say this, just listen. I don't want nobody to get mad at me. I don't know if I'm not starting to doubt Curry, but I'm starting to see that we jumped too early to the conclusion of calling him, already labeling him as great, or the greatest, or whatever you want to call it. Because yes, he had before those two MVP seasons, Curry was having decent seasons, but nothing amazing. And he's kind of going back,
those bum ass ankles. That's why.
Yeah, and he's kind of going back down to, I guess, going back to his normal stage. Because I guess as a player, you have those seasons. Me and you talked about the last episode, that those flash in the pan seasons where you just have everything's going right, everything's clicking, everything's moving. But it's about how do you adapt, or how do you come back, or how do you change your game up, or how do you fix those situations. Same with I want to say Dirk Nowitzki. The thing that everybody can always count on with Dirk Nowitzki is he was always consistent. He always stayed up to his level.
To adapt to his teammates.
Exactly. Not everybody is good at adapting, like you said, to your teammates.
Steph has never adapted to KD. It's clear, it's evident. Like, KD has taken something away from Steph's game. I'm not sure what it is. It's kind of like he lost his confidence, because he kind of had to take a step back from being a back-to-back MVP to be like, oh shit, I'm not even the best player on my team right now.
Yeah, I'm the second best. And you can say what you want to say. And you can say whatever you want to say. You can say, oh, Steph Curry can shoot better than KD, or blah, 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 this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, KD is still going to be better than Curry. Because at the end of the day, when KD's shot's not falling like Steph Curry's shot is not falling, KD has that jump, that mid-range jumper, or that body he can back you to the lane and pull up on you. Curry doesn't have that. He's a small guy. He doesn't have that mid. What'd you say?
That he needs to jumper to go. He's had games of 0-11, 0-10, and 0-8. He's had a 0-29 stretch in a 3-game period. It's not all consecutive, but the fact that one of the greatest shooters in NBA history has had a 0-29 performance in an entire season, that's ridiculous. You can't call yourself the greatest shooter and be 0-29 in 3 separate games.
And they say shooters are streaky. You're not always going to be consistent.
Not that streaky.
But not that streaky. That's pretty bad. It's either you're doubting yourself or you're losing it.
Because think about this also. Like, I just said he went 0 in 3 separate games. This was a guy that hit a single 3-point shot in about 200, 300 consecutive games.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have 3 separate games where you've missed almost 8+ threes in each one. Oh, that's crazy, man.
They do look bad. At first, I was like, okay, they're in shock. They lost KG. He's a major cog in their organization, but now it's starting to look like, man, something doesn't seem too right. And truth be told, let's be honest. Let me ask you a question: if you had to trade somebody off that team in the offseason, who you getting rid of?
Draymond.
I'm getting rid of. You say Draymond. I say I'm getting rid of Steph. Because I say Draymond.
Steph a free agent.
Steph may leave, but that's the thing is, okay. So how bad would the backlash be if Steph left the Warriors?
Depends on where he went. If he went to if somehow Michael Jordan could convince him to come back home, there'll be a great move.
Then he'll get away. He'll be fine with that. But if he goes anywhere else, the backlash may be worse than KD because you are our MVP. You are the person that put this team on the map, and you walked away. You know why people complain about Kevin Durant joining the big four, the big three and stuff like that. But no one ever say, oh, well, KD, not too many people really get on KD just for leaving OKC. They just got mad that Kevin Durant joined the Warriors because he could have went to Boston, the Wizards, wherever. He could have went to New York, LA. Nobody else wouldn't have said anything about him leaving OKC because we already saw the beef that was between him and Westbrook. We knew one of those it was inevitable. They were going to leave. They weren't going to stay with each other. But with Curry, you are the Warriors. You put the Warriors on the map. You are the face of this team. And if you leave, the backlash would be something. And I don't think that Curry is the type of player that can live playing with that backlash that will come. See, I feel like LeBron can take on that backlash because he has other elements to his game that, when his shot's not Drake, he can drive to the lane. KD, we just talked about what he can do, when has adversity. Curry, when you got those boos, sucker, soul out, blah, 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 them shots, it's going to distract you. You're going to get thrown off on your game. So I would trade Curry to make it look like, so it would lessen the blow kind of, and I feel like I can get more for Curry. But Draymond Green, if I was going to get rid of Draymond Green, I would have got rid of Draymond Green last year because he's not putting up no numbers like he did last year.
He's not, and that's kind of, it's going like everything's going to be in Curry's court. Like he can have it his way. If he say, hey, I'm not resigning to Draymond, get traded, most likely Draymond going to get traded because as great as he is, like you said, he's a distraction. And when they're trying to accomplish something like they're trying to accomplish with KD not having a ring, everybody questioning Steph in the playoffs, especially in the finals, how he doesn't perform. Like you can't continue to have that and be a distraction on and off the court. And that's all Draymond is doing. It's like ever since they gave him that money, it seemed like he was humble at first, but now he's starting to let himself loose.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I want to say, doesn't he remind you of like Rasheed Wallace? How Rasheed Wallace was? He was that, and then he had the attitude, and people didn't want to be bothered with him, or the Dennis Rodman or the Ron Artest type of player. You have those dirty players, those grounded out players, but when you start pumping their head up that they were, when they start feeling that they were better than what they were doing, that's when they start going off the edge. Because when we start pumping, we was like, man, Ron Artest was a hard worker. Ron Artest, grinded out. He was a tough player. Then we start pumping his head up. And he can shoot threes, and then he can take it coast to coast and do all this extra stuff. It's same with Rasheed Wallace and all these players. And Draymond Green is getting to the point where Steve Kerr created a monster. He created an environment where you can say what you want to say. It's like the Pete Carroll effect. We live in an environment where you say what you want to say. I encourage positivity. I encourage the people. Come to me, open door policy, blah blah blah, all that other bullshit. But look what it is, Richard Sherman. You see that monster starting to act out for Pete Carroll. Look at Draymond. Draymond calling Steve Kerr out in interviews, and you can see him going toe to toe with Steve Kerr on the sideline. What coach allows that? Not too many coaches allow that.
No.
It's starting to get noticeable, and Draymond is really showing his face right now, and I'm not liking it. Personally, it's like, man, you're doing too much.
With the struggles included, is the Warriors season still championship or bust?
No, it's still championship or bust. But I feel like if KD were to come back in the playoffs and they were to lose and they weren't to win the championship, I feel like the blow wouldn't be so hard on KD because people would still have in their back of their mind, man, KD probably didn't play up to his level because he coming off an injury. So people's not going to give him that.
So he'll have
flag.
a pass.
They would.
So KD pretty much got a pass.
Yeah, he would have a pass. Even if he came back, he still has a pass. Don't you think that too?
I kind of can agree with that because that's the thing. Like it seems like nobody wants to blame KD for anything. Like I don't know when he became the NBA's angel. Like I really don't. Like yeah, he left OKC, did a couple charity events that he had already booked, and now everybody's still on this side. Like I said, it's not that I think he deserves to be hated, but he really has not getting the slack that LeBron got for a full year, almost 2 years.
And you know what? He does need to get some slack because going to the big three was one thing, and everybody wants to play up that whole you beat us in the Western Conference Finals. That's why I shouldn't have went to your team because we lost 3-1. Blah blah blah. All that bull. No, you go to your team. You go to that team because you like those players or whatever. You went to a team that had way too many stars, in my opinion. Like it looked like you was trying to win a ring instead of compete for a ring. That's a knock I would give on KD, not because you joined the enemy, this quote unquote enemy. No, if KD was really legit, he would have went to the Wizards or he would have went to that Boston team. Because picture KD, the Boston team this year with KD.
True. They would have easily been a 50-60 win team.
And I swear to God, KD versus LeBron in the Eastern Conference Finals would have been the most entertaining game I probably would ever watch because I know that the Celtics, the thing about the Celtics team that I like more than when he's with OKC because Celtics have the mindset of playing defense, something that the OKC team starts slipping on. Mm-hmm. You have those players that grind out, but guess what? The Celtics have a team where everybody plays in their role. Nobody doesn't play outside their role. Brad Stevens like, Isaiah, you are my scorer. That's what I need you for. Jay Crowder, I need you to hit open shots, and I need you to hustle for rebounds. Bradley, I need you to be a scrap dog. What's his name? Al Horford, I need you to get rebounds every now and then, and I need you to pass the ball when you see open men. See, everybody doesn't play outside of their role. There's not one time I watched the Celtics game was like, oh, that guy's doing too much, or this guy, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Everybody plays in their role, and adding KD is adding the small forward that team needs. He gives you the scoring threat, he gives you the distraction to pull in two defenders to open the floor with people, and he also gives you a defensive presence on top of the defense that you already have.
There we go.
And I'm telling you, man, that would have been beautiful having him went to the Celtics. And that's the knock that I would always have on KD. If he were to get a ring, just like LeBron, a knock because he went to Miami, I would knock KD. If he gets a ring this year, you have an asterisk because guess what? You went to get that ring. You didn't compete for that ring, in my opinion.
True. Man, let's talk about some other free agents that probably regret their decision making. One that's out for the season, and Dwayne Wade. We about to get into the playoff picture for the East and the West. We're gonna start with with the East. Right now, Chicago look like they're about 2 games out of the 8th spot. I don't think they got a chance with D Wade being out, but I most likely can see Dwayne Wade leaving Chicago. I think they may just try to get rid of Jimmy Butler and just start completely. I think the coach may be fired too. I think the Hoiberg experience kind of backfiring on them. I mean, they don't have any kind of potential right now. I mean, Rondo, we already know he's a shell of himself. They don't really have any other stars to even build around. You gave away Gibson. You don't have D Rose. You don't have Noah. You let those players go. Luol Deng is out the door. You don't have no up-and-coming star other than Jimmy Butler. And it seems like he's been unhappy for the last year and a half.
Yeah, man. I think me and you talked about this last week. I feel like the Bulls remind me of the 49ers of the NBA. And I'm sorry that we always keep making these comparisons between football and NBA, but sometimes these teams have similarities. You had a coach that was giving it his all in Thibodeau, who was bringing you to you was always in competition. You was always in the top. You was always there for a fight. It was just a beast that you couldn't stop. You couldn't stop LeBron, even though you gave it your all. LeBron's just a freak of nature.
Once he started holding Derrick Rose, it was like, all right. Well.
That's what I'm saying. like yo, it's just like in the 90s. The Knicks, as good as the Knicks were, they couldn't stop Michael. It's just like you had these teams that were still good, and they just couldn't get over hump because of another greater player. So you don't blow everything up. And that's where the Bulls went wrong. Same with the 49ers. The 49ers kept facing what? A better team. They would face a hotter team. And that's not knocking whatever you're doing as an organization. But, some people, they just want to win so much that they can't see past that. My team is competing. They're competing for a reason. So, like Thibodeau brought the Bulls back into, I want to say, popularity because they went through some dark years.
Oh yeah,
we talked about them Ben Gordon years,
Jay
Kirk
Williams.
Heinrich years. Yeah, those are dark years. Same with the 49ers. They had real dark years before Harbaugh came walking through that door.
Mike Singletary got his pants down at half.
Exactly. These people, they act too fast. And what they did, they moved too fast. Yeah, you brought in the hometown kid and D-Wade, but guess what? D-Wade didn't look like he was happy to play there from the jump. If you want to be honest, he didn't look like he was ready. And it's crazy that D-Wade left. I think if D-Wade can go back in time, like LeBron can go back in time and redo the whole decision, I think D-Wade would have stayed with the Heat because he knew that organization was going to compete always, because Pat Riley is the type of person that puts the type of people in positions to succeed. And
they still got a solid roster with no Justice Winslow since December? He's been
and then look at the Heat team. They probably about to make the playoffs, and D-Wade left that team and went to a team that's not going to make the playoffs. Picture the Heat with D-Wade on that team. They would have been more of a threat. They're a great threat now, but they would have been a hotter threat, in my opinion. So I personally want to see D-Wade go to come off the bench because he's 36. Like you're not the healthiest of the bunch,
right?
you need to come off the bench somewhere. Like like Boston would be a good fit, or the Wizards, the Clippers. If the Clippers really wanted to spend some extra money, D-Wade would be awesome to come off the team. He would bring that leadership and that championship I want to say experience to your team.
Mm-hmm.
It could probably get you over the hump against I want to say a Warriors or a Rockets or a Spurs, in my opinion.
Like what Paul Pierce did for the Wizards. Even though it didn't lead to that type of success, what he did for that team just by bringing that championship pedigree, like you were saying, like it does affect everybody around you. But
we know where he's going. We know where he's going.
Right? I can definitely see the Miami Heat sneaking up in there. I kind of want to see what the Pistons may be able to do. I think Stan Van Gundy deserves to make the playoffs. He's been trying to build something special with the Pistons. He don't have the best talent around him, but he's making do with what he has. But either way,
he does have the best. Whoa, you don't think he has the best talent around him? I just think that team is inconsistent. Now they have the talent, in my opinion.
They don't even have an elite scorer. I think you got to have some type of elite scorer. They got some decent scores. I mean, when you talk about Tobias Harris, but he's only giving you 16. He's not going to explode for 30. Reggie Jackson, he's not going to explode for 30. Andre Drummond, he's already limited with his game. I mean, I don't see no explosive scores, and they're gonna get swept in the first round anyway.
Yeah, they remind me of the Jazz, but they're like the Jazz team with no defense, because that's what makes the Jazz. Because the Jazz don't have no elite scorer besides maybe Gordon Hayward, and I personally really respect Gordon Hayward, but he's not a super elite player. Same with Detroit, Tobias Harris.
But at least they got Gordon Hayward and Hill, like able to hit 40% of their threes. They don't have no 3-point shooters on the Pistons.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's Reggie Jackson. Like they need Ish Smith. If Ish Smith if Ish Smith was really in the lead point guard role, I feel like the team would be better off because he distributes the ball more. He has a better court vision, in my opinion, than Reggie Jackson. Like Reggie Jackson is more of a 6-man type of player. He's just happen to play point right now.
No, he just happened to have a nice ass contract to where he better start if he's gonna be making $15+ million.
But that was in the all season. I thought that was crazy though. They overpaid.
What? $80 million? Are you serious? $80 million for Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, but the team I really want to see make it is Milwaukee. I really like
I think they in there.
I like the Greek Freak is really balling out there. He's really showing that he has a nice all around game. And they have Chris Middleton. They have Greg Monroe coming off the bench is real nice. I like Tony Snell. They have a really nice team. I like Deladova. I don't like Deladova, but I deal with him. But I really think they have a really nice team. I think they have a young team, and I feel like when Jabari Parker comes back next year, that's the type of team that them and the Timberwolves are identical teams, in my opinion. One team is going to go one way, and the other team is going to always be in the mix, but they won't be as good. One team is going to explode. I can't see both of those teams. It's one of the teams going to get hot, because it reminds me back in the day with the when the Warriors and the Rockets were kind of at the same space, and it was like, oh, what team was going to take off, and it ended up being the Warriors, and the Rockets kind of were always there. Now we're taking back off. I feel like it's going to be between those two. I really like both of those teams. They have a lot of similarities with the power forward position and the small forward position. You have two young talents emerging in Karl-Anthony Towns and the Greek Freak. And I like both of those teams. And I think they're going to be dangerous for a lot of the teams going forward in the future. Like, they're going to be a problem for the Cavs, the Raptors, Celtics. Same with, I feel like the T-Wolves going to be a problem for the Spurs, the Rockets, the Warriors. I like both of those teams.
Yeah, they just got to start winning on the road a little bit. It's not like the T-Wolves is bombed out. You know, I had picked them to get into the playoffs, but it's like nobody's stalling. You got Denver 7-3 over the last 10, Portland 6-4, Dallas 7-3, Timberwolves right there at 6-4. So they keeping track, but they need the other teams to lose to get up in there, and they just not losing. So they in the right direction. But if they was in the East, they'll be in the playoffs easily. If they was in the East. Because they don't have to go through those road games at San Antonio, at the Warriors, at the Rockets, at the Jazz, at Oklahoma, at the Grizzlies. That's why they're 10-21 on the road. Like, that's the main reason why they won't make the playoffs right there.
And you know what I'm really liking about the season? You know, there's a lot of drama all of a sudden. You know, there's a lot of just uncertainty with with LaMarcus Aldridge and how is that Spurs team going to end up. You know, he still has that heart problem. Yes, he played the other night, but you never know when that issue may arise again.
Pop back up, or you have to miss a game or two. Yeah.
Yep. KD's not there. Can the Rockets get hot at the right time and ride their wave? What's going on with the Clippers, the Jazz? They're young and emerging. Same with, and then there's not a lot of teams mailing it in. What happened?